Hey guys, Tom here. Today I'm just going to show you real quick a painting project. Now, since everybody's on lockdown, it seems like everybody's taking care of projects around the home because they got nothing else to do. And judging by the lines at the paint counter at the home center, painting is a big project that everybody would like to get done. I'm going to paint this relatively small entryway at our house, so I thought I'd just give you a quick painting 101 for those who would like to get a paint project done but aren't really sure how to go about it. A kind of a painting primer, if you will. So the first thing we have to talk about is what's involved in painting. And I guess to break it down into sections, you have tools, prep, and paint. Let's talk about some tools. So when it comes to paint tools, the basic list that I think everybody needs is first your prep tools. This is a painter's tool. So it's called a 5-in-1. This one is actually more than a 5-in-1. It's probably 6 or 7. And it does a lot of things. It will, with this end, you can scrape. You can use it as a putty knife. Has a little hole here. You can pull out nails if need be. It has, excuse me, on this pointed end, you can clean out cracks like old caulk, stuff like that. This circle thing is for when you're cleaning up, strip out your paint roller. This one happens to have a can opener, a couple little hexes on here for, I guess, nuts, if you have come across nuts. And this also has a hard end where you can use it as a hammer, like if you got a quick bang in a nail or a nail pop or something like that. So that's an important tool. Putty knife is a good tool to have. Well, it's an important tool to have, although basically you can use your 5. A screwdriver, you need a screwdriver. A good caulk gun, actually, I spend the money. You can get the kind that have the teeth on the bar here that you have to turn all the time, but they're a pain. This one is spring loaded. You just press this button and lets it go. And good caulk. You need good acrylic latex caulk, painter's caulk. Some spackle. Any kind of lightweight spackle, although truth be told, a lot of times I just use drywall compound if that's the case. A little piece of sandpaper just to knock down anything rough that you might have. Your paint brushes, if you're using, there's 2 kinds of paint brushes. Actually, there's 2 kinds and then 2 categories. You have natural bristle brushes, which are like China bristle, which would be used for oil-based paint. For latex paint, you want a good nylon polyester brush, and then there's 2 types. There's this angle type here, which is called a sash brush, and a straight brush. Either one is fine. I'll show you the different. I mean, I use either one, just no matter what I grab. A lot of people use these more for painting trim, windows, casing, stuff like that. So we'll go over that. A good paint roller frame. Here's the thing. People say, I need a roller. Okay, so do you need the frame or do you need the cover? This is the frame. This is the roller cover. And there's different sizes of roller covers. This happens to be a 1/2 inch. I default to 1/2 inch. They say to go to the store for smooth wall. This is a smooth wall. They say you need 3/8. I never use a 3/8 inch nap. I find I'm going back to the well too much to load up my roller. I always use 1/2 inch nap roller. I can get more paint, go farther, and I think do a better job, get it more even coverage. A roller tray, or if you're doing a large area, you can use a screen in a bucket. I'm not going to bother with that because most homeowners probably don't have a screen in a bucket. You need a work pot. This is just the old paint gallon. And it's cool because nowadays, back in the days when I was actually a painter, the paint cans were actually cans. So they were kind of a pain to clean, but now they're all plastic. These are great. You just, if you get on your cleaning right away, you wash it right up, it's great. I like to have a bucket of water, a paint rag, although again, truth be told, I end up usually just using my finger and wiping it on my shirt. And then a screwdriver. This is like a little painter's pry key if you need it. A very controversial item Painter's tape. For doing, like when you're cutting in, which is cutting in is a term for doing around the edges. Some people call it trimming. If you want to tape your doorways or your windows or along your ceiling, learn how to use a brush. You'll save a lot of time. I'll show you how to do it, and you won't need this painter's tape. But it's an option if you need it. A very important thing, a refreshing beverage. And then now let's talk tarps. This is, they call it right on here, drop cloth. This is a plastic sheet drop cloth. Do not put this on your floor. I'll tell you why. What you want for your floor is a heavy material drop cloth. You want something that will soak up the paint, but not allow the paint to soak through. And I'll tell you why you don't want this on your floor. Because one, it's going to slip and slide all over the place. It's a hazard. Two, when you do spatter paint, say that 4 times fast. When you do spatter paint, it's going to just sit right on top of this plastic. You're going to walk on it, you're going to tread it all through your house, and then your partner is going to be very mad at you. Believe me, I have unintentionally gotten paint somewhere other than where I was painting, and it's not good. So what you want is canvas. What I have on the floor here, which I'll show you, is actually, it's a heavy material. What they actually are, they're actually heavy, lined with a backing, old drapes that I got. I couldn't even tell you where I got them. I think I may have got them from a customer at one point, but they're great. I love them. So anytime you come across at a yard sale, if you're going to do a lot of painting, heavy drapes, a heavy canvas tarp would be great. That's what they sell at the paint stores as drop cloths. They're canvas. But any kind of heavy material is what you want to use for your drop cloths. So you put that down. What you do for this is you cover your furniture with this. If you're painting, like I emptied this room out, it's just a small hallway. But if you're painting, say, a room that's got furniture, your living room, your bedroom, whatever, what you do, you don't have to clear out the room. You move all the furniture to the middle of the room and you cover it with a plastic. And that's how you do. So next, let's get into prep. How do you prep the walls? Get ready for paint. The first thing you have to take care of is clearing off the walls. That's your pictures, your paintings. If you have posters, photographs, guitars hanging on the wall, anything you might have, clear that off the wall. Next, you got to take off your switch plates and your outlet covers. Now, a little tip I'll tell you. Store the plates in a bucket or a pan or something, but don't put the screws in there. You're guaranteed to lose the screws. Once you take the plate off, put the screw right back in the switch. Next up, you have to caulk and patch. Caulk is for cracks and patching is for holes. Your nail pops, your picture holes, your hammer dings, whatever. That's what you use for patch for. For caulking, get a nice bead of caulk down the corner where the crack is. This happens to be a casing and the wall, but the same applies for corners of walls or walls and where the ceiling meets, or walls in the baseboard. Run a bead of caulk and then tool it out. And the best tool for this is your finger. Smooth it out, get off any excess, and then just go over it with a damp sponge. You're going to get a nice, smooth tooling, and all the extra will be gone. And by the time you're done, it's going to be ready for paint. Next, you have to knock off any high spots. That's ridges, paint nubs, nail pops that have come through. Dings, not a ding, you wouldn't scrape off a ding, but just anything high. You can do this with some good light. You can see where they are, or actually a lot of times I just run my hand over the wall till I feel them and then knock them off. And then just rub them down with a little sandpaper. Same thing for here for this nail pop that I'm patching. Just a little bit of spackle on a putty knife or my 5-in-1. Smooth it out, and then if need be, sand it off. And for that, you're going to want to use 100 sandpaper or 120. Nothing too coarse, nothing too fine. And then just do that for the whole room, and you'll be ready for paint. So in the next part of this, I'm going to show you how to actually paint the wall, rolling it,
cutting in, and you'll be ready to go for a paint project. So make sure you subscribe to the HomeCraft Chronicles for all projects, especially part 2 of the painting project. And until then, I'm just going to finish up this repair, and I'll see you real soon.